Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Startup on the Blocks. Glad to be here tonight on Thursday. Looking forward to a great event tonight. Monica, you can turn your camera on and come on stage here. And first, I'm going to share a little bit about Startup on the Blocks. Hello, Monica.
Hello. How are you? I'm fine. How are you?
Great. Glad to have you on tonight and to learn a little bit about your startup journey. Excited about that. And I don't know if you heard our Startup on the Blocks spiel yet. So if you bear with me, I'm gonna share it, and that way you can we can make sure people are aware of what Startup on the Blocks is all about. My computer wants to be a little lively tonight. But yeah, we've been doing a lot of events with Startup on the Blocks, trying to get more founders to come and participate and network with each other. And we hold the event each Thursday night at 6 p.m. And the first hour is networking one-on-one. Got a chance to do a little networking today, and it's a great opportunity. I notice a lot of people come on to hear the speaker, but the networking is where you kind of make those contacts and learn what other folks are doing to be successful, and sharing ideas.
Right.
But I think you may have became aware of Startup on the Blocks when I had messaged you about one of our second pitch competition.
Right.
And so we try to do those, and we're going to launch our next one on Monday, and we'll have that in December. But we've been doing these events since August of 2020, and so we've done a lot of events, and we like to kind of connect people to opportunities, accelerator program, funding program. I did a post today on Facebook, and 3 of the local companies got a grant, $5,000 each, and that was like an example where we've been posting that link for the Doolittle Institute here locally, and this opportunity to get that $5,000 grant. But that was an example where 3 companies had got it, and so we share a lot of opportunities like that. We like to do a shout out to our sponsors. Industry sponsored our first 2 pitch competition. The First Bank is doing our this particular pitch competition coming up in December, and Gulf Power is one of our major sponsors. And we have we'd like to give a shout out to like Bantucola for doing our streaming, and they also have a Black Business Directory to get listed in. And we partner with both Minority and the Pensacola Chamber, and we're connected with Terry over there in Panama City with the Northwest Florida Minority Chamber over there as well. And we the Small Business Development Center also helps us out. So tonight, Monica, you're the star of the show, and so I guess I should ask you: had you heard of Joey Womack? He'll be on next week.
I have not.
Yeah. So do you have any connections up in Atlanta?
No.
Okay.
No, I have a couple of friends that live there, but as far as like a lot of business connections, no.
Yeah. So like Joey, he runs this Goody Nation, and guess what he does? His nonprofits support founders just like you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and so in our newsletter, I think I've been recommending that folks get signed up on his website, because he's well connected to and that's what he's all about, just connecting founders to resources. And he also has a training program for nonprofits as well, and we the Kukua Institute participates in that. And so we've been getting a lot of help and a lot of training and a lot of advice. And today I didn't get a chance to log on. They have what they call founders therapy, so all the founders can get on and cry about what they've been struggling with and share experiences. Yes. And we've had Lakeisha French on before, and just so you know, she is a part of another organization called the Southeast Business Hub, and guess what they do? They support Black and brown minority founders all over the Southeast.
Okay.
Yeah, see, so all these resources are out there for us as founders, but if you don't know about them and don't connect with them, you kind of lose out.
Right.
And so, yeah, but we had her on earlier this year, and she's coming back on because she's an entrepreneur as well, and so she's founded this company called 8 Strands, and so she's going to be on in a couple of weeks to kind of share her stuff, and so that will be great. And later on, we're also going to have Matthew on. He's with Florida Power and Light, and they run an accelerator programs, and they have I think they're starting their next cohort the beginning of the year, but then they're going to open up for another cohort, and they work with people at the idea stage and also people out there successful. So they're kind of, if you're doing something related to power or energy, that's another opportunity that's out there.
Right.
So yeah, so it's just a lot of uh, uh, great opportunities. So we try to make the ecosystem more inclusive, and we help people that are already founders, and we help people that are we want the future founders that people don't that haven't became a founder yet of a startup, and so we want to make sure they're aware of the ecosystem before they actually start on working on their startups. And
Right.
so, and I say we're at the beginning of the funnel because we want you to learn the best practices and of building a startup, and we kind of get you ready, um, prepare you for those pitch competitions, for those accelerator programs, pre-accelerator programs. And so, like, if you don't ever get started and become aware, it's hard to get to the point where you're getting to the venture angel and venture funding. But we kind of connect with those other resources so you can kind of get some funding to kind of keep working on your product or service. So like the networking, like I said before, that's kind of what the deal is. And so, like, let's say, Monica, let's say if you had actually entered our last pitch competition and put in an application, we would have invited you into our kind of like second core. And so we offer mentoring, and we offer a product called Lean Time IO, where you can do your project management, and you can have your co-founders working with you. The Startup Rocket is a platform where, as you're working on your idea, it's like it has all the tasks and all the steps to kind of get you where you're trying to go. And so we also do office hours, and just a lot of things. We just our newsletter is all about connecting you to the resources. Let's see, and our playbook is simple. So like as a founder or somebody thinking about becoming a founder, you have to learn the startup methodology. It's a proven approach for taking an idea, and working on an idea, and building a MVP. And we recommend everybody to enroll in that startupschool.org, because you're kind of learning that, and all about being a founder. And then the fsuccess.com and other sites there, where you can create your company profile and your personal profile. So it's F-Success is like the LinkedIn for startup founders. But what's neat about it, once you build up your profiles on there, you actually are eligible for a lot of free services. Like my startup, just build up my profile on there, both business and personal. We got like $25,000 worth of Amazon credits, and plus $5,000. So these are all things that are available, for you. And so we encourage people to attend our weekly events, because that's how you network and keep learning new things, the kind of new ideas. So it's a couple hours well spent. And so so yeah, when you're working on your startup, you want to leverage the ecosystem for all the neat things that it has. Yeah. So that's a little bit about Startup on the Blocks. And I hope, did you have any questions? Because had you ever heard that spiel before?
No, I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah. So, but like, so what do you think about what we're trying to do there?
I think it's awesome, and I wish I would have known about it. It probably would have saved me a lot of headache in the beginning if I would have known about it a long time ago. But that's awesome, and I'll definitely be checking out, the next few lives, because I think you're gonna give a lot of good information.
Yeah, and I think I had messaged you back about our second pitch competition, and so the reason why we do the pitch competition is just the people who are not aware of this ecosystem. We try to use that to kind of lure them into the ecosystem to kind of learn about it, and that's kind of what the purpose of that Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what your startup company is all about.
Okay, so I'm Monica White. I am here from Pensacola, Florida. I am a 12-year cosmetologist, licensed. I've had my own salon going on about 8 years now.
Mhm.
Back in 2019, I decided to launch my scalp care line that was pretty much based on convenient scalp care for Black women who were dealing with common scalp issues. Something that I came across a lot during my journey of being a cosmetologist is that a lot of times we have Black women who are dealing with scalp ailments but didn't necessarily have a convenient product that was effective enough that they could use. And a lot of the stuff that was on the market had a lot of harsh chemicals in it. They weren't effective. They weren't convenient for the Black woman who usually wears her hair in protective styles, wigs, braids, all of that different stuff. You go to the dermatologist, they give you a product that, you have to wash your hair every other day, or it's not really working with what they have going on with their hair. Like they had a protective style. So me being a cosmetologist, I saw a problem I wanted to solve. I wanted to make the lives of my clients easier, the lives for myself, because I deal with the scalp issue as well. So I started kind of formulating and kind of playing around with product to see what I could come up with after doing some research and just kind of putting things together using my products on my clients. I was like, hey, I'm gonna just launch this as a company. So 2019 was my first pop-up I did, and it was pretty successful. People liked the product. So from then on, I just kind of kept building on top of what I already had, making it better, making it more efficient. And
Gotcha.
now, yeah.
Yeah. So with the startup ecosystem, I talked about future founders and so you're an entrepreneur running your a beauty shop there, and
Yeah.
you discovered a problem that people have, and then you said, well, I want to create something around that.
Yeah.
And that's what the startup world is all about. So somebody may be working at a bank, somebody may be working at a hospital,
Yeah.
insurance company, whatever, and they see they're out there working and they see these problems that they run into all the time, and so the so they so if you don't have an idea how to create a solution, but you may have an idea how to create a solution for that problem, or you may just realize the problem needs to be solved, and you may think you can have an idea on how to solve it. So at that very instant, guess what? Guess what happens at that very instant?
What happened?
Yeah, so like the second you have this, I'd say, well, I'm going to start working on that. At the
Right.
minute you do that, you're a founder,
Right.
and so and the minute you become a founder, you become eligible for all the stuff that's available in the ecosystem. So, so that I didn't say once you got your product developed. I said the
Right.
minute you start working on your idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how powerful is that?
That's pretty powerful, especially if you go ahead and put the effort behind it.
Yes, that's the key point. But it's also important to kind of learn the best practices and get all the
Mhm.
help that's available to you.
Right.
Yeah, and so so you started experimenting with the solution, but did you um, how did you interact with the potential customers to validate, start validating your idea?
Well, I mean, being a cosmetologist and having
Hmm.
clients that were already dealing with this problem, it was pretty easy for me because uh being being in the salon, the client stylist relationship is based off of trust.
Okay.
So if I say, look, I see that you're having this problem. I've created this product. Do you mind if I try it? And or will you take a sample and just tell me what you think? And that's kind of how it started to flow.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. That's great. So so you saw this problem and so what was the main thing that made you want to start working on a way to solve that?
Well, like I said, I was dealing with a scalp issue myself. I deal with eczema on my scalp. And
Okay.
so the scalp issue can be very embarrassing. It can be
Okay.
uncomfortable. It can be inconvenient, especially when you're wearing certain hairstyles. So, you know, even for myself, I wanted something that was going to work better than what I was using out of the local beauty supply store. And a lot of people don't read ingredients. And when you
Hmm.
go into the hair store, if you read and Googled some of the ingredients on your products, you probably wouldn't want to use it anymore. And one of the most popular products that was in the store that people usually use for their scalp, they don't know that there are ingredients in there that are traced back to different cancers and different ailments in the body. So I knew I wanted something that was natural. I knew I wanted something that wasn't going to cause harm or cause more of a problem on my scalp. So that's what kind of guided me on what I was going to put into my product.
Gotcha. So, so were, so like, so you didn't have any background in formulation, chemical formulation or anything like that, did you?
I did not. I just took my knowledge from cosmetology, and I just read and did research on different products and different ingredients. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And so I noticed that there are several other women beauticians that are doing products and services. Do you all have a little network that you all collaborate with each other, or uh,
I haven't collaborated with anyone, but we do have, I do refer my clients to different things because, what works for one may not work for the other.
mhm.
So I have connected with other stylists. I've done lives, which I call a beauty chat, where I've talked to other stylists and we've come
Okay.
together on live and talked about different things going on in the salon life and products and clients. And yeah, so we've connected and we do share information and we do chat with each other on different things and how we can all help as far as like the Black hair community in the area. We have gotten together on that. Yeah.
So what are some of the resources that you have found, on your journey so far that's kind of helped you along? What are some things that actually made a difference for you?
Well, one resource is I connected with a chemist.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, I did end up getting with found a chemist over the summer and connected with her, and she was able to help me reform because I actually just rebranded my
Hmm.
products. I went through the Target Accelerators program,
Okay.
which
Well,
was like
how did you hear about that, or how did you get connected to that?
that was pretty crazy because I had just I was just scrolling on Instagram
Okay.
and it popped up on my timeline and I was like, hey, this looks interesting. I looked into it. The application was actually due the next night. And
Oh,
this is
okay.
not an application you can do in 2 nights. I do not suggest it. It was a lot of work, but I actually got into the program, which was really kind of blindsided me because I didn't really know what was going to come out of it. But I got into the program. It was an 8-week long program, and it was awesome. They've connected me. They've vastly expanded my network. Like really great resource. They just opened up their application as well, so that's a great
Yes.
resource.
Yeah. So like once you tagged me on that on, on that, and I did have it on our newsletter,
Mhm.
and so yeah, so that's pretty fantastic. So you have any idea that anything like that out there was available to kind of support you in what you're doing?
I did not. I didn't know about accelerator programs until Target. I really didn't know what an accelerator program was until I got into the Target one. And now all of a sudden I see all these other ones out there and I'm like, wow.
So, so like yeah, so like once you become aware, see, like I think it's important and I still think people have trouble understanding that if you're trying to make a product or service and that you can get out to a lot of customers, it's hard for people to sometimes understand that there, a lot of companies out there that are willing to help you with
There
that,
are. Yes.
and that there's a whole ecosystem just for that.
Right.
And, yeah, and so yeah, so tell us about, do they have a curriculum, or was it virtual, online, or was it in person? Tell us a little bit about it.
So prior to COVID, they were actually doing their accelerators program in person, but we did the whole thing via Zoom. It
Okay.
was very convenient. We just met up twice a week. Well, actually, it was more than twice. It was Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 5 to 8 every night, and then on Thursdays we had office hours with our mentors and any speaker they may have had that week. It was really awesome.
Okay. So what I probably you don't by any chance have that link to the accelerator program, the current one that's open, because like
Yeah, I do. I could get it really quick.
yeah, and so like, so was it solely targeted towards beauticians, or what type of companies were they looking for?
Any startup. I was in that cohort with hair products. There were hard seltzer businesses, a baby business, people making food. Any startup
Okay.
was welcomed into that cohort. Yes. So it
Mhm.
doesn't really and it doesn't matter the size. Like I'm still a baby. I'm still a baby in this entrepreneurial product startup world, and I got in. There were
Okay.
companies that have been around for years and they were there. So it
Okay.
doesn't matter the size of your business. I mean, if you have something unique and you feel like you're feeling a need, I strongly suggest that apply. You just never know, because like I said, I was very shocked that I
Mm.
got in, but yeah,
Hmm.
I can
So that,
pull up that link.
yeah, so
You want me to
that
send it now?
yeah, you can, if so, like, there's if you notice over to the right, there's a stage chat.
Okay.
And yeah, and just if you once you find the link, just post it in there, because we there, there are several of the founders that are out there, listening, and Facebook and LinkedIn, that might be interested in that, and just being able to identify with somebody that actually went through the program and actually did the application. That's real important. So it's like a so you're a good example of discovering the startup ecosystem. And so Amazon has a so was the target accelerator targeted towards Black and brown founders, or women, or anything?
Yes. So it's Black and brown founders, women, minority founders.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
yes.
Yeah, so in Amazon, I think they have a cycle that's going on, but it's hard to think of a major company that doesn't have a program for Black and brown founders. From
Yeah.
PayPal,
Right.
to all of these companies, they have different accelerator programs, and they have also accelerator programs that they target Black
Right.
and brown founders. But so like so. Um, so tell us a little bit more about the training you got, and that. And also, did you get any funding associated with it?
We did get a small grant going into the program. I can't give a lot of details because we did sign an NDA.
Okay.
But I can
Well,
say that
yeah, don't get
right.
you. Well,
But I
it's
can
kind of interesting. I know. Um, so typically, I'm trying to think. That's the first I've heard of an accelerator program. Wanting to keep some of their approaches, um, confidential.
Right.
It's and I'm pretty sure there's probably a good reason for it. So I don't want to say, but the main thing is so the funding that you received, did they give it to you all at once, or how did that work?
Yes, so we had to go through some steps to set up payment, but yes, we did get it all at once. And the targeted the for founders is really for founders who are wanting to prepare their products to go into mass retail. So
Okay.
if you see your products going into mass retail, that's what their accelerators is based off of.
Yes. So yeah, so that particular point. So like, do you know Cynthia Pace? She has a product, and then there's another beautician that has a product. So that
Yes, yes, yes. And I sent them. I think I sent them the link directly. I want to
okay,
say
good,
yeah, because
good, good.
anybody that I knew, because they told us, when the applications open, like the best founders are found by other founders.
Okay,
So they wanted us to make sure we touched bases with people that we knew. So anybody
okay,
that I felt would be interested, I made sure that they got the link. Yeah,
yeah.
because I'm all about sharing information.
Okay, good, good, good. So I'm trying to think. So so there, so like people who have products and service. So we have several. There's a ton of like dribbles. You know, Troy. Is on the audience. Carlos, he does paintings and drawings. There's a guy that's been trying to connect with us. He makes all kinds of instruments and stuff.
Mhm.
So and so to me, this and so like so what kind of things did you learn that would help you get your stuff on the mass market? In the as far as the training.
We learned how to fundraise. We learned how to connect with distributors.
Okay.
We learned just how to set up your company to where if you were asked for a huge order to go into a big retailer, you knew how to get what you needed in order to fulfill that order.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, basically just making sure that your company was ready for mass retail. Like, how would you distribute, your products into these retailers?
So it sounds like that for that particular accelerator, it was based on the fact that you have a product that you want to get out to the market, and so so they were actually so like as opposed to having a software product or you have a hard product or something,
Mhm.
and you trying to mass produce it to get. And so most people, some people think that that you have to be a technology company to actually get support in these
Mhm.
the different accelerator programs. So would you say your company is a technology company?
Not at all. Not at all. I just want to take care of people's scalps. So
Yeah.
that's what it's based off of.
Yeah, but it's technology in the chemical formulations, and then
Yeah.
once you start trying to mass produce or handle a lot of orders, you're going to need technology. So you're
Yeah.
going to be a technology enable um,
Right.
company. And so did they talk any about that in the accelerator program? Technology. Did they talk about it?
Did they talk about technology? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, any tips um, you can share?
Well, I mean, I know far as, my own experience, just start looking into ways that you can produce your product in a more productive manner.
Hmm.
So, like, I started making my own stuff in my kitchen. Like, I was in my kitchen mixing my products, packaging them, printing my own labels, all of that. Start if you see yourself heading in a direction where you're going to be doing mass retail or even smaller retails in local stores, start thinking of those technologies that you would use to start developing and producing your product in a more productive manner so that you can do it at a bigger scale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, so how have you actually been funding the development of your product and doing all these things?
Out of pocket.
Okay. Okay.
Right now, I mean, between sales and just my own personal investment, that's how I've been working out
Mm-hmm.
my
Yeah.
company.
Yeah. So, so the um, so what the so one of the did you notice on that first second slide I had on that there was like over $5 billion set aside for Black and Brown founders,
I did see that.
and so the deal is you'll be on our mailing list now that um, registered on for the event here, and so that email has anywhere between $1 million and a couple $1 million worth of opportunities for founders on there, and there's several on there just for women, and there's several on there just for founders of color. There's plenty of them on there for all type founders, and so it's just a great resource to get connected. So one of the things that one of the poll questions I had out there, are you signed up on the Hello Alice newsletter? It's on the, I guess that it was a poll question on the event um, link. But so have you ever heard of Hello Alice?
I have not.
Yeah. So it's a website that you can sign up on, and it's for entrepreneurs, and they you know they have so many grants and that you can apply for. But and it a lot of the stuff that they have on there is for Black and Brown founders, and so these are kind of resources that you can use where you don't have to spend all of your money,
Okay.
to kind of move the needle on what you're trying to do. And so, have you are you familiar or heard of the Lean Startup methodology?
I'm learning a lot in this session. I'm just paying attention. I'm taking
Yeah,
notes.
yeah, but yeah. So the Lean Startup methodology is literally well, the Lean Canvas is a one-page business plan. So you kind of you identifying your customer and customer segment, the problem you're solving, your solution, your cost structure, and whatever your unfair advantages that you have. And typically when you're filling out these applications for these pitch competitions and these accelerator programs, it's sort of geared around those same questions.
Right.
Yeah. And so and that's kind of what it is. But there's the methodology. One of the key things about it is that you, just like you did, is just working with the potential customers,
Right.
and getting feedback from the customers, and learning from that feedback from the customers.
Right.
So throughout the whole process, you're like, even your current customers that you're selling to, you keep getting that feedback, and so you can keep improving. Or if you have an idea for something, you actually run it through the same process you do. You have an idea, you do some experiments to kind of validate that idea, and so on and so forth, and then you validate it. So let's say you want to create another product in your product line or whatever, so you just keep going through this process, and it's a iterated thing, and it's the kind of a methodology for it's where you don't risk all your money and time out there working on something that nobody's going to buy. So yeah, that's kind of what. So there's a lot of questions been popping up in here. So let's see. Can I go back and if you got any questions out there, you can Facebook. You can actually post them on the Startup on the Block page if you can. That way we can actually see them. And same thing I guess we're not really monitoring the LinkedIn, so I won't say that. So let's see, what's the first question? So yeah, Lord Junior says, showing up is half the battle. Go, Monica. Carlos said, do your products use all natural ingredients?
Yes. So the base of my products are natural ingredients. Aloe is one of my top things that are the base of my products, and I try to focus on using more natural ingredients. Of course, there are preservatives in there, but I've tried to use more natural preservatives over synthetic. But yes, natural ingredients.
Yeah. Yes, and Vercel says, are the products on the shelf behind you your developed products?
Yes, this is my new developed products. This is the new design. Like I said, I just rebranded after going through the accelerators program. Of course, I learned so much I wanted to apply. Like, this was my old packaging, which was kind of busy and just fun. And then we kind of toned it down and gotten into like the more commercial look with my products. So yes.
And he said, how did you select your color scheme?
Just playing around with colors and just kind of mocking. Like, I don't know what my board is, but I have a big mock-up board of where I just printed out different things and different logos, color schemes, what was going to work. Because I'm targeting, Black women right now. Like, I do plan on expanding my line, but, I want it to be soft and feminine. And the theme behind my scalp care is self-care for the scalp. I'm a big self-care advocate. So I want to brand that scalp care should be a part of your self-care routine. So I just wanted to make it soft and beautiful and just relaxing. So that's kind of how I came up with this calmer. My salon is actually painted this color.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of part of my inspiration as well. Because my salon is Magenta Sky Salon, so Magenta Roots.
Okay. So Magenta Roots. So what is the word magenta? What is that all about?
Magenta is, well, one of my favorite colors, but if you like color theory, it's when you look at the meaning behind the color magenta, it's a balance between passion and just relaxation. So I wanted to bring all that into my salon. Like, when I originally created my salon, I love that color, but when I was driving home one day and the sky, when you live in Pensacola, during the summertime after it rains, in the sunset, the sky is like this magenta color. So Magenta Sky is how I came up with the name for my salon. And I just wanted to tag my products along with that.
Okay, fantastic. So the Edna says, do you have a website for your product lines? And
yes. So it's magentaroots.com.
If you would type that in there, that would be great. Yeah. So, like, had you did any research on how big an issue this is, and kind of like the how big the market is for this eczema of the scalp?
Yeah, I mean, the information that I can find out there is there's a very high percentage of scalp issues amongst
Okay.
Americans,
Okay.
but over 9 million of those people are Black women that are dealing with the scalp issue.
Okay.
So there is a market there that is kind of in need of a product that's not full of chemicals and harmful ingredients.
Hmm. Yes. So have sometimes kind of so right. You got started off with your customers for your hair salon. So
Right.
have you expanded outside of your customer base?
Yeah, I've shipped out to California, I've shipped up north, Georgia, South Florida. I've
Mhm.
had quite a few clients just because I mean with Pensacola being a military town and clients coming
Mhm.
in and out, I've had people share their experience with my products. So
Mhm.
and then just people finding me online. I'm active on Instagram, so I get a lot of customers from Instagram, and just word of mouth has been a big help.
Yeah. So are you doing any advertising on Instagram or any other social media thing?
Facebook, I've done a few ads. Instagram, I have not done any ads. I've worked with a couple influencers on Instagram though.
Yeah, but you are how big or how what are your hopes? How big are you going to try to scale this out to? So what's your idea about that?
Well, my goal is to go into mass retail. Like I want to be in Target, Walmart,
Hmm.
Sally's. I want this to be a pretty big company because there is a need for it. There are products on the market, but nobody is supplying a full line of scalp care maintenance. Like you'll have one or two products in a line where they're selling styling products, but not necessarily focusing on curing and well treating and helping the scalp.
Hmm. Okay, so like the reason why I asked that, so what did they say about how do you get funding to kind of scale your product out there to a lot of customers?
Well, you mean
Yeah, so like an accelerator, I'm assuming, they how do you fund that scale up, to like a Walmart, or how do you, because it takes money to get the some credit to get the products manufactured on a large scale. So how, I guess my question is, did they give you any what have you learned so far about that on how do you do that?
well, from what I got from the program is expanding your network base, touching and getting in touch with those companies that do the fundraising, the ones that are connected in resources for funding companies and stuff like that. We did learn about fundraising and how we can reach resources to do so.
Hmm. Yes. So before I take the next two questions, so the reason why I was asking you those questions, so so one of the principles as a founder, the way you have to articulate your business is you have to know how much money you have to spend in order
You
to
do.
acquire a customer.
Right, right.
And so, did they teach you about customer acquisition costs in the accelerator?
We learned quite a bit.
Okay,
I'm
so like,
trying to,
okay, yeah.
stay within my boundaries, but
Okay,
give you a little
but
bit.
now, this is kind of what the lesson we're trying to help you and the audience with is that if if you know how much it costs you to acquire a customer,
Right.
so like on your Facebook or Instagram advertising, or whatever advertising you do, and let's say you spend um, $1,000 and you get 10 customers.
Mhm.
So that means your customer acquisition cost in that instance is $100 per customer.
Right.
But if you spend like 10,000 and get $1,000 and get 100 customers, your customer acquisition cost is $10.
Right.
Okay. So, and then there's this other idea is how long do you keep that customer? Do they keep coming back buying more product? Then this idea of the lifetime value of a customer. So let's say let's say your customer acquisition cost is $10, but the lifetime value of that customer keep coming back buying and buying. Let's say that's $1,000.
Right.
So that's $990 difference than your acquisition cost. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm seeing what you're saying.
Yeah. So so what you take that customer acquisition cost, if you understand that and you know what your lifetime value is, if there's a big difference between those two things, that means an investor will come in and say, well, let me give you $1 million, and that means and it costs you $10 per customer. You got 100,000 new customers,
right?
And 100,000 times $990 per customer, that's a lot of money, isn't it? Yeah. And so that principle of what it costs for you because like we got to acquire a customer, we got plenty of people out there doing the retail, got the shops online and they're advertising or doing whatever, but you have to determine what are the costs for you to acquire a customer, and then what is that lifetime value, and once you get that down, because let's say you go to a pitch competition, or you fill out an application for another accelerator program, and so one of the questions might be on there, what is your customer acquisition cost?
Right.
And so you have to understand what that question means.
Right.
And then also what's your lifetime value of your customer. So for you so you can look at all your repeat customers and kind of get an idea of how much they spend.
Right.
And so, but your data so far is probably on a year, so forth. So have you gotten any indication, on the reorders and stuff like that to kind of get an idea, how much a customer is actually worth?
No. I mean, based off of my Shopify, because Shopify does a lot for me.
Okay.
So, that has been a great platform, for my business. Because they take a lot of data for me.
Yes. So yeah. But that's what you. So you see how just understanding that principle, you can start planning your path, to actually getting funding to kind of scale out to be able to handle the Walmarts and the Targets and and all of those places. And so the deal is, when you participate in these, when you fill out a pitch application or accelerate application, you learn what they're actually looking for. By those questions they ask. So the more application you fill out, you start learning. But if you go to the that online startup school, you're going to learn a lot of this stuff as well. And you see what I'm saying? So you have to learn because, or if you like, what kind of questions. So you participate in the pitch. Was the pitch competition that you participated in, was that like the demo day for the accelerator program?
I'm sorry.
So you were in a pitch competition earlier this month, right?
Yes, with Twitch pitch with Lightship Capital.
So is that different than the Target Accelerator?
Yeah. Well, there were Target Accelerators was a part of this season. So everyone that I'm sorry.
No problem. Bless
everybody
you.
that participated in the cohort this past summer was put into this pitch competition.
Okay. And so were you all competing for more money than what the accelerator program had?
Yeah, so this pitch competition was for $25,000.
Okay. Yeah. And so was that for first place? So the winner actually got 25,000. So was that clear and free, or did they want any equity or anything in that?
No, it was clear and free.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. So by participating in one program, you got referred to another program.
Yes, they've opened up a lot of opportunity for us.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. And so that is an important lesson to learn. Once you start participating, you start people become aware of who you are, and then they start referring you to other programs.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's a pretty neat thing. So have you got referred to any other programs besides the Twitch pitch?
Yes, we have gotten connected to some other programs and some other just being on LinkedIn, we've had people connect with us, different agencies and different founders and things like that. So it's opened up a lot of different opportunity.
Yeah. So that's just from one program. That's actually pretty neat. So and tonight you learned about Goody Nation. So if you go to goodynation.org, you can sign up for their program that they support Black founders. And but I'll make sure you get the on the newsletter thing. So and most of these organizations are actually on there. And then the other thing, all our videos have been archived on Facebook, but and also in the newsletter, I also have some of the archived video links in there for some of the speakers. So let's get to a couple of questions before we get to. Vercel says you focus on Black women, and I guess he's saying, what about Black men?
Do currently have men who use my products. My husband actually uses my products, but the only reason that in the beginning I'm focusing on Black women because that's who my customer is in my chair every day. Okay. So that's the only reason why I started with Black women, but I do plan on expanding my line to reach Black men and also children, because I've been running across children who are dealing with scalp issues as well. And I just want to grow my line into even going into probiotics and teas, because a lot of scalp issues start in the gut and people don't even know that our scalp is responding to what's going on the inside, and not necessarily all the time what we're doing to our hair, what we're putting on our hair. So the line will be expanding. I'm not leaving the guys out. I'm not leaving the kids out. It's just that's just where my beginning is.
Yeah, so you may not realize that that's the when you're doing the lean canvas and you're in the first box on the lean canvas, it's all about your customers. Mm-hmm. And so one of the best practices is you focus when you start, you focus on your early adopters. Yeah. In your case, your early adopters are your current customers in the salon. Right. Right. And some people have trouble with that idea. So been mentoring one company, and they like even my start of Cognitive Big Data, I made a mistake. I went after the big enterprise companies as opposed to focusing on the lowest hanging fruit. Because so like let's say to get your customers there, it might take 6 months to a year, where if the smaller clients, you can actually get those a lot faster, but you also get a chance to validate your product. Right. You see what I'm saying? And but that's when you're doing the lean startup methodology, that's like a playbook point. You actually you go after the lowest hanging fruit, the early adopter, the person that's actually most likely to do it. Edna says, are you taking new customers?
Always taking new clients.
Okay, so yeah, so let's see what um, yeah. So she says there are so many products online and in the stores that target Black women. Many of them claim to be all natural. Why should I try your product?
Well, like I said, my products are fixated on solving the issue and not making the issue worse. I've done a lot of research. I work with a chemist who specializes in natural products. The current manufacturer that I work with, that is actually creating the base for my products now, she is a natural product developer. So what people do or say in the stores, I
Mhm,
can actually validate and say that my products are here to help and not harm, and they're
mhm,
here to be effective. So, and also, like I said, most companies have one or two products. I have a full line to help you on your healthy scalp journey each step of the way. So you're going to get your cleanser, you're going to get your conditioner, and you're going to get your maintenance products to keep it up every day.
yeah. So what you just kind of went through there with so like one of the things when you're pitching your product, you kind of walk the through the customer experience. So
Right.
once the customer tries your product, they they do this, and then this happens. And so
Right.
yeah. So that's how you demo your product. Just by saying that, and when you're doing your pitch, you literally have to demo your product in
Hmm.
that way. So and Vercel is saying he has a friend in Nigeria. She develops a scalp product line in her home. She did not get a professional chemist involved, and a number of customers developed scalp burn issues. And then he's talking about, do you have a professional chemist and on retainer? And I
I
guess
do.
okay, yeah. And so that's that's great. Yeah. So are there any more questions out there? So um, so if I kind of do a little quick review, as you already were an entrepreneur, and you saw this problem your customers was having, and then you try to create a solution for it. So you're spending your own money, and then you came across this ad, on Instagram, where
Hmm.
you could actually get some money, you know, for working on your product. So it's, but you also there was training for you,
Yeah.
that'll train you on how to. So how much did that training cost you?
The training?
Yes. Did you have to pay to get the training in the Target Accelerator?
No, no,
Did
nothing
you have
else.
to pay? Did you have to pay to participate in the $25,000 pitch competition?
Not no, no, I did not.
So, so from your perspective, now that you kind of you stumble across this and you're learning all this, and so like I said, Amazon has a program, PayPal has a program. So do you know PayPal is set aside almost $500 million to support minority founders?
Wow. Now I knew about Amazon and I knew about Walmart's, but I did not know about PayPal's.
Yeah. So you name it, and so like I'm not sure what Bank of America focus on, but they've I think their thing is like 2 billion or so, at least a billion or some ridiculous amount,
Mhm.
yeah, targeting founders of color. But what I want the non-minority founders to kind of understand is if there's 5 billion for people of color, how many uh, billion you think that is for the rest of everybody? Yeah, it's like yeah, it's crazy. So I think Lloyd Jr. put a link. So Lloyd Jr., could you also share the link to the, I see it here. I'll copy it. Yeah, I had a chance to earlier this month to participate in a podcast. Talk about my startup journey a little bit, and
Mhm.
I'm going to share that link in the in the on the stage chat as well. But anyway, um, I think for those out in the audience, and Lord Junior, if you would repost that on Facebook, that would be great too. That it's kind of giving you a kind of perspective from all of these years I've been working for the government and working like in the startup world, like for like I started in the startup world even before I retired from the government. But the bottom line is that there are so many resources out there. Um, so the one thing I want to mention for you, so you say your shopping cart is on Shopify or something like that. You said.
Yes.
So does Shopify, um, what what data do you have kind of like access for that on there?
Shopify, that they track pretty much everything, the funneling of your site. They track,
Yeah.
and then they have different apps that you can apply to your Shopify as well. So if there are certain
Okay.
things that you want to track or pinpoint in your business, they have apps that you can add to your Shopify as well.
Yeah, and so the reason why I'm asking that is so you are actually also want to make sure you're collecting data about your products and your customers,
Right.
and so like and so I'm trying to think of how to totally communicate this. So um, there, so like what kind of success you know, women are having, what kind of success men are having, what kind of
Right.
success children are having, what kind of, like you want to start accumulating all this data, and 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 so then you're gonna, as you say, you're so your sales data, all this stuff is you want to kind of make sure you accumulate it, because what'll happen is that you will start to see a relationship between this all this data, and
Right.
then and so now your data actually becomes as valuable as your product.
Hmm.
So and that's what the world is all about. So let's say your data, you start keep on collecting all this data, and you and so you see the person's scalp, so you can do you have to recommend a particular product or service, or are your ideas to kind of just to do the products in general for each customer? It's the same approach.
Well, I have different products for different ailments.
Okay.
So
So
depending on
my point is like, so you want to automate how the person determines which product they should
right,
get.
right,
And so and so so when you automate that approach, let's say you come up with a questionnaire or a survey on your site,
hmm,
and then but you also need to get feedback from the customer after they use your product,
right,
and then and so you want to just keep on accumulating this data, because sooner or later this data is going to help you automate your interactions with the customers, and help you have then you can develop software that automatically recommends a product or
right.
service for, and you want to have a method to get some feedback data from the customer, so you can actually incorporate that in the thing. So let's say you got a list of all your customers and what they buy and their feedback, and then you from that data, let's say you got 1,000 customers, and you and you got what products and services they purchase, and then you got the result of their use of the product of services, and then you can start seeing the relationship between your customers and the product and services they're using and the kind of feedback they have.
Right.
And that actually becomes really valuable because you can actually, from that data, you can turn that data into software, and that becomes more valuable. And it's based on your products and service and your experience. So this is a interesting thing. So let's say you were trying to implement AI in what your thing is doing. So based on all this data that you got, that's your proprietary data, and that, so I think the deadline is tomorrow or something. But Amazon has a contest out there right now where if you start working on a product or service using their site, you can actually win $100,000 worth of free Amazon credits.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, but that's why I say you have to always think about data, because that's where you can go, you can develop your own AI from that data.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's kind of what the deal is. So let's see what else we have here before we sign off. So the Lord Junior put the link in there for our future events. So yeah, if you out in the audience, if you want to be able to register, we have a different link each week for our events, and so if you want to know how to find out our future events, you can go to events.kukuainstitute.org, and it'll list all the events that we have going on. So you can always find a link to register for our upcoming event, or you can look at our Startup on the Block's Facebook page, and it has the typically we'll have a post with the link for our next event. So definitely follow us on our social media page and everything. So any parting comments for the folks out there, Monica?
Like I said, once I discovered one resource, everything else kind of started falling in place. So don't think about how small you are or how small your idea is. If you see an opportunity, just seize it and just go for it. Like, I didn't know, and now I'm learning. Like, through the program, I've learned so much, and I've gotten connected with now you guys. So I'm learning even more about different opportunities here in Pensacola. So it's great.
Yeah, so fantastic. So thanks a million, and we thank everybody for tuning in today. And Monica, we wish you great success, and
thank you.
Definitely keep in contact with, because we want you to get your products and services out there, and we don't want you to have to spend all your money to do that. We want to connect you with some resources.
Now that I know what you guys, I'll definitely be tuning in and just soaking it all up as much as I can.
Yes, and we'd appreciate it if you can connect with other folks to help them understand what the startup ecosystem is
Definitely
all about. And we want you to, like, as you learn about stuff, keep sharing it, and feel free to post it on the Startup on the Block page or tag me on it or whatever. But yeah, because that's the only way we're gonna create more jobs here in Northwest Florida.
Right.
And there's a lot of good stuff out there, but so just take advantage of it. All right, everyone. Thanks, Monica. We'll see everybody next week. Looking, and also keep an eye out for announcements for our pitch competition. So are you going to participate in our pitch competition?
I would love to. Yes. I really wanted to the first time you told me about it, but I'll be honest, I got busy and forgot.
Yes.
Because I'm running a salon and COVID world and all this extra stuff, but I definitely would love to. So I'll be looking out for some information and be checking the page for that.
All righty. Fantastic. All right. Bye-bye, Monica. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.